Welcome to American Dreams. I'm here today with Evan Carmichael. Evan, welcome to today's show.
Thanks for having me, Alan. Super excited to do this.
Oh, I'm super excited to have you with us too. And I guess the genesis of this is going to talk about YouTube marketing. Your channel has over 3.5 million subscribers. This is one for Evan Carmichael, and I like to move through the motivation that you had for starting your own YouTube channel.
Sure. I think ultimately your purpose comes from your pain. So whatever you struggled the most with as a human is what you want to help other people with. And so I struggled so much as an entrepreneur in my first business, quitting on my partner. Um, and I felt isolated and alone and just didn't know what to do. And I'm still making videos now, 13 years later for 19-year-old Evan and all the 19-year-old Evans out there in the world who are struggling to believe in themselves in their own business. Alan, I didn't know like nobody on YouTube at the time in 2009 had 1 million subscribers. Nobody was posting educational entrepreneurial videos, right? It wasn't this is the big plan. I've got it all mapped out. I know how it's all going to work. I'm a visual guy. I'd much rather see something than listen to it or read it. And so I thought YouTube was the only video platform at the time. I'm going to make video content and I hope it helps a few people. And I guess fast forward to today and we've had some success.
So, what's been the biggest challenge of running your own YouTube channel?
The biggest challenge was belief that I could do it. Belief that my message was worthy, that somebody would want to hear from me, that my story mattered. The biggest fight I would get into with my agent was him just telling me that I need to be famous. Like, I don't want to be famous, dude. Steve, I don't want to be famous. And it wasn't like it was years of fighting with him. And he's helped blown up Mel Robbins and Grant Cardone and some other pretty big names in thought leadership education. And it wasn't until he said, but the more people who know you, the more people will hear the message. And as soon as it became about, okay, the message is valuable, now I need to be more public. I wouldn't have done an interview like this. It's like, why does Alan want to talk to me? I don't know. Like, you should have somebody else on. Somebody else has a better story than me. That would have been my default response. I don't know, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. But the realization that, hey, maybe somebody can learn through my story, pushed me to get in front a little bit more.
How do you come up with your video ideas to keep your community engaged?
That's a combination of what do I want to make with what are people asking for. And I think that's at the success of any successful business, not just a YouTube channel, not just a podcast or a show. It's like, what do you love doing with where is their demand? If you take something that you just love doing but nobody cares, you have a hobby. And great, it could be a really fulfilling hobby, but it's just a hobby. And if you take something that everybody wants but you don't really care about, you're never going to win because you're doing work that you hate and there's somebody else out there who loves doing that thing. And so don't spend your time doing work that you hate. So it's in that combination of like, what do I love doing with what do people actually want, that every business can become successful. So for me, we get a lot of feedback from the audience. People leave comments like, hey, I'd love to see a video on blank. And maybe I know how to do that. And maybe I really resonate with that. Or maybe I don't. And then we don't. Um, or it just starts with me saying, I think this could be a cool idea. And then I try to make that video and put it out there. And sometimes they take off and they do well and we do a lot more. And sometimes it completely flops. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, nobody liked that. Move on to the next idea. I think the key though within all of that is we're not so attached to this thing having to work. A lot of times people, when they're first launching their YouTube channel, their business, their podcast, whatever, we put so much pressure on the launch being perfect. And then if it doesn't work out, we feel like a failure. Where for me, it's just, okay, we're going to try that and we're going to try this and we're going to try that and something's going to work. And if that thing yesterday didn't work, cool. I've got 18 more ideas I'm going to try until I find the thing that does work.
Now, what system or process do you have or use for your filming and editing? Is there a particular methodology?
I think that's evolved over the years. At the beginning, I probably spent way too much time trying to figure all the stuff out. My first video took me a full day to record because it was one video. It's like 6 minutes. It took a whole day to record because I was trying to get it perfect and the camera and the lighting. And my friend came in who's a professional videographer and he filmed me and I had to memorize my script. And over the years has gotten a lot more streamlined and faster, and I've cared less about it being perfect and more about me just showing up and trying to connect more to the heart and less to the head. If we had done this interview even 3 years ago, I would have said, okay, I need to know what are Alan's questions going to be. I want to know what his questions are, because I wanted to have an answer. Because I would be afraid of, I don't want to disappoint your audience. I don't want you to ask me some question. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But what would end up happening is I give a really prepared, rehearsed answer, which then doesn't actually bring the most value to your community. And so instead, it's like, I don't want to know the questions. I don't want to know, what you're going to ask me. Let's just go with it and hope that I have enough inside me to be able to share. And so eh, I wish I had done that sooner. If you look back, I probably wouldn't have made changes, but like if I could talk to Evan, who's starting this channel at the beginning, is like, don't be so stressed out about saying the perfect words and having the perfect lighting and gear and editing process. Just go, make, create. And the more you can connect in your heart instead of your head and what you think is perfect, the better results you'll actually have.
Evan, once a video is produced, how do you promote it? This is a big area that a lot of people say, how do I get my people to see what I've done?
So this is where YouTube's actually very different than every other platform. If you look at even a podcast, for example, you can have the greatest podcast of all time. You can have a great session with somebody, but now it's still on you to get the message out. There's not a lot of built-in podcast distribution, where YouTube gives you distribution. So YouTube is a huge search engine. YouTube does an awesome job at surfacing content to new people. So it's not just about creating content, it gives you the built-in distribution. So with YouTube, we'd be looking at even going in, making this video. The target should be, how do I get people who have already watched an Evan Carmichael interview or are already fans of my channel to now discover who Alan is, right? That can happen. And so it's going in at the beginning, thinking about the subject matter you're going to talk about, the thumbnail you're going to use, the title you're going to use to get people to go watch the video. And the best way to win is on the platform. So the best way to you to grow your YouTube channel is to win on YouTube. It's not telling people to go from your Instagram account or your Twitter to go watch this latest episode because they don't spend the time. If we're doing a 25-minute interview that goes to YouTube, somebody who's on Instagram does not want to then spend 25 minutes watching a YouTube interview. So even if you do promote it there, they'll click on it, spend 30 seconds, and then go back to Instagram because they want like some fast piece of content. So the way to win is not across different platforms. It's to win on the actual platform. And it's the same thing for Instagram. Like, win on Instagram. Don't try to get people from YouTube to Instagram. Understand the ecosystem that you're playing in and winning there. So the promotion is less about what you have to do off platform and more about how can you understand how YouTube's algorithm works so that you can win on platform.
There's a lot of chatter on the internet today about, well, you have to pay to play. And do you have opinions about paid promotion?
It has a spot. It just depends on what your goals are. So if somebody's going to start a YouTube channel, cool. My number one question is, what are you selling? Like, what's your business? Is the business just to be an influencer and try to build up an audience and sell advertising against your show? Or are you a coach? Do you have products? Do you have services? Do you have books? I was working through a model yesterday, but just finished 11 hours of YouTube training over the past 2 days with my community. It was insane. And we had one guy come on, and I gave him a model to host a show where he only needs to have a couple hundred subscribers, and he can build a multi-million dollar business off of that show. So just depends on what are your goals. Uh, you can always buy views, you can buy subscribers, you can buy attention, but does it help you lead towards your business goals or not? So to answer that question, maybe pay to play could work, but what are you trying to accomplish? And then if I understand your goals, we can devise a better strategy.
So I want to roll into real life of what we're doing here on this channel. Currently, I have in excess of 26 million views, taking this up to 100 million views, and subscribers are about 53,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I want to take that to 100,000. If you were me, how would you focus your efforts? And the time frame, I want to do all this within a year.
Well, that's totally doable, right? I mean, getting to 50,000 is a lot harder than going from 50 to 100. And if you look at my homepage, you can see the journey that I went on and how long it took to go year by year. And anybody who's trying to get started, if you want to just have some inspiration, you go to my homepage, you can see like year one, I had 25 subscribers, and year two, I had 100 something. It's like just really slow growth. By year five, I think that's when I crossed having 1,000 subscribers. So it took me a long time to get going. If I'm looking at you, most of your content is interviews like this.
Yes, yes, that's
And
correct.
how often are you creating content?
It's at least twice a week.
Cool. So then it'd be looking at how can I one, how many videos do you have? Sorry, two in your catalog? Like how many interviews have you done?
It's been over 2,000.
So the easiest thing now is tweaking your thumbnails and titles. Like step number one is you go back into catalog and we're updating our thumbnails and titles. Whenever I'm helping a channel, and I've helped, well, not just my channel, but some pretty big channels, million subscriber plus, 10 million subscriber plus. Uh, the easiest number one hack is not even the new shows coming up. Most people focus on what I'm doing next. It's fixing the catalog. So if you have 2,000 interviews that are all like 20 minutes plus length,
Yes.
yeah, then you ask great questions, which is awesome. You're probably getting great information out of your guests. Just in those numbers, what it's telling me is you have not done a good job in optimizing the thumbnails and the titles of those videos.
Okay.
If you've done
Thank you.
2,000
Yeah.
interviews like this and you're pulling gold out of people, you should be over 50,000 views. So it means the content is good, I hope, unless you've just gotten so much better, or, maybe you sucked at the beginning. I don't know, but like you probably have good content. And if it's that many and it's long form, if they're all like 1 minute clips, and that's a different story, but you have long form, then yeah, the number one thing, even just doing that should take you over 100,000. Like really dialing in your thumbnails and title strategy, just that in the next year, without, even if you never make another video, you don't even release this one and never produce another piece of content, that should take you over 100,000 subscribers. Beyond that, the content strategy, we start looking at who we're bringing on, how much does it resonate with our audience, uh, potentially going more, twice a week is a commitment, and it's hard, booking guests, and it becomes this machine to be able to make that happen every week. I would definitely throw in, if you have that much content, 2 to 3 mashups per week. I don't know if are you doing any mashups?
Not right now. Not right
Cool.
now.
That's a huge opportunity. So
Okay.
there are themes. How many, like if you've done 2,000 episodes, you've had 2,000 guests, maybe there's some repeat guests that come on there, cool. But you have 2,000 episodes. There are some consistent themes that you talk about. Maybe on this one, we're talking YouTube and marketing, and others is more personal development or other things. But then what you do is you take clips. So you take a 5 minute clip from this one and you mix it with another 5 minute clip or 10 minute clip from somebody else's show. And then you have a marketing mashup, or you have a growth mashup, or you have a success mashup. And you're taking just clips from those different episodes and pushing them together to have a hour-long mashup that is high value around the theme. So when you have a guest coming on, there's one guest with multiple themes depending on the questions you ask. Cool, that works. The mashups are one theme with multiple guests. And the best part about it is it requires zero Alan time. This is a team project. And so, like, access to Alan to say, Alan, go make 4 videos a week in interviews. Well, it's now, I mean, you could, but it's a lot of work. Alan's now got to find new people to come on and prep for the interview and get the questions. And if you want to do that, cool. But to go from 2 videos a week to 4 videos a week with 2 mashups that are in there, or 3 mashups that are in there, is zero Allen time except for guiding strategy. And it's somebody on the team to help just pull out the best clips and edit them to form a mashup. So for anybody with a content catalog, that's a super easy way to build and grow the channel too. And looking at, at least in the 45-minute range for the mashups, but I'd be trying to target an hour plus on those videos. And just doing that. If your goal is 100,000 subscribers in the next year, just doing that gets you to 100,000 too, right? Like this is a very achievable goal for where you're at right now. We have 2 strategies that just in isolation should take you over 100,000. Combine them, now we're off to the races. This is
Thank you.
exciting, dude. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you. This is excellent, excellent advice here. And so, when you look at your team members, who are the critical members to do mashup? How big is a team that you managed
So
or
we've got
manage currently?
42 people on the team now,
42. Okay.
but I'm also a little crazy. Like I don't think my team should be the thing that people model. Nobody else has the structure that I do, but we're also making content at a scale that is also not what I would recommend, right? Like we have 2 hour plus videos going out every day on our main channel, a shorts going out every day on the main channel, 4 or 5 shorts going out on the dedicated shorts channel, another 15 shorts going out a day on another shorts channel, a Spanish channel with 1 million subs, a Russian channel with almost 1 million subs, and other channels that I'm forgetting. So it's like the research and the editing and the team it takes to pull all that off is is pretty intense. So I wouldn't stress out about necessarily matching like where I'm at now. If you want to use that as inspiration, cool. But for most people, even just inside thought leadership education podcast interviews, you're looking at the host, right? Like Alan's here asking questions, cool. And then you have somebody doing the tech. I don't know how tech like you are, Alan, versus you got somebody helping you. Like, what microphone do you use, and how do I make? I'm in focus, and what camera? I don't know what this is. I don't know what camera I'm using, but I don't spend any of my time on that. So you need somebody typically to film you. I know you need somebody to edit, and ideally the edit person also knows how to do thumbnails and titles. So in that, 2 or 3 person operation, you can build to 1 million subscriber channel. It doesn't have to be something crazy. Maybe you get some input, from experts or consultants. Um, I come in and consult with a lot of the big channels, and I've trained 3 people now on how to go off and do it, right? Like if you wanted me to help you with your channel, I might give you some pointers, but you want somebody to do it, well, I can give you somebody to actually work with you, every week on fixing your thumbnails and titles and catalog and all that kind of stuff. So maybe with a little bit of outside expertise, but a 2 or 3 person team is more than enough for most people to get their content going up.
So how much time do you personally spend just to kind of pin this down? Is
On
it
what on YouTube?
on YouTube? Yeah. A
Uh,
week.
I guess it depends. Like, does this count?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Is this work? This is fun. This is going to your YouTube. Is it going to mine? I don't know. We're taking a clip and putting it on mine, maybe. Um, how I structure my days might be a better indication. So Mondays, I spend the whole day mentoring my team. So the whole day is wall to wall, 25-minute meeting, 5-minute break, 25-minute meeting, 5-minute break. And it's really just about how do I help my team grow? I care about being a HR driven CEO, right? Like if you don't care about mentoring your team, then cool. Now you freed up, would free up an entire day of my calendar. At 42 people, it's still not enough. Like a full day for me isn't even enough to get through everybody. And I feel bad about that. And I don't have an answer, for how do I scale to 100 people? But that's Monday. It's just team. Tuesday is YouTube day. And that's when I'm filming content, strategizing for the channel, looking at my data and analytics. And it's just all day YouTube, 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 YouTube. And some days are heavy filming and some days are heavy strategy. But that's what I'm focused on for the whole day Tuesday. And chunking the time like that really helps me. So my team doesn't message me on a Tuesday because they know Monday's my mentoring day, unless it's like super urgent. And I try to build a no crisis business. So like I trust you. There's a problem, you try to solve it. And if you really, 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 really need me, then message, but you're interrupting like my filming or doing something else, right? So kind of training the team how to treat you, but also giving them the rope to go and make their own decisions. Wednesday's my project day. So it's like whatever I want to work on, it's open. I just finished writing a new book. I wrote that, and promoting that now on Wednesdays and thinking about my strategy on Wednesdays and just freedom, whatever I want to do, whatever I want to work on, wherever I want to go. I think as entrepreneurs, we get all these ideas and then we don't have time in the calendar to ever focus on them. So that's my Wednesday. Thursday's my public facing day. Interviews, my membership community. We're filming this on a Thursday. It's my public facing day. It's 25 minutes on, 5-minute break, next interview all day long. Um, and then Friday is my CEO day. It says, what does it mean to be the CEO of my company? And anybody can do this. Like, what does it mean to be the CEO of your business where you're working on the business instead of in the business? And then that's what you decide to do on a Friday, at least for me. So that's my typical work week. So if you're looking at just like YouTube strategy, filming, then it's 1 day a week on Tuesdays. If you're going to throw in stuff like this, then it's also 2 days a week. If you're going to throw in mentoring my team who helps me produce my YouTube videos, well, then that's Monday as well. And it could also be Wednesday and Friday if I'm doing CEO and project work or on YouTube. I don't have a defined, like it only has to fit in this time. A Wednesday project might include YouTube or might be my book or might be something completely different. But that's maybe a little window into how I run a typical work week.
So, Evan, what is one question that no one has asked you yet regarding and how you use YouTube?
Oh man, I have no idea. I've been asked a lot of questions. There's no question that I wish people would ask me. I mean, I think it's the question I wish people would ask me is whatever is actually on their heart, but they're too afraid to ask. Like, how can I help? I'm here to help you, to help your audience. If there's a question that matters to you or to your audience, that's the one that I want to answer. And like, that's the one that I want to always lead with. Um, so yeah, there's no like, oh, I wish Alan asked me this. Like, whatever's on your mind, that's what I want to go down.
Okay, I'm going to give you one final question here.
Let's
Okay.
go.
What advice do you have for aspiring YouTubers that are starting from ground one?
Expect to suck at the beginning. Expect to suck. Like you might look at Alan and say, wow, Alan looks so great. And he gets all these guests on and he looks so professional and he asks these great questions and he looks so comfortable in front of the camera. And like, I wish I could be Alan. Right. But Alan wasn't Alan either at the beginning. You know, Alan sucked at the start. Go watch episode 1. I don't know. I haven't seen episode 1, but it's probably not as clean and polished and there's mistakes and flubs. And like episode 1 is supposed to suck. So just expect to suck at the start. Don't don't take that as you suck as a human. Like that's the problem is we make something, it sucks. We watch ourselves back on camera and it's like, oh my gosh, I was so bad. I can't believe it was that bad. And then we internalize that to feel like, well, we suck and I'm just not good at this and it's not meant for me and I'll never do it. No, like you get on a bike and you fall off. This is the nature of learning any skill. It's just a skill. So expect to suck at the beginning and then create, go, make another video, and another video, and another video. It took me 350 videos until I wasn't completely embarrassed by my stuff. Like I couldn't watch it back. I would press play. Like, oh, it's so bad. 350 videos and 700 videos until I inspired myself, where I watched the videos like, you know what? Like I might be getting good at this thing, huh? 700 videos in, and I think most people can get there a lot faster than it took me to get down that path. And we just have these unrealistic internal expectations for how good we should be. So expect to suck and then just go create and keep making content.
Evan, it's been a pleasure having you with us today here on American Dreams.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate all the love.